will start with the World Trade Organization or WTO. The World Trade Organization was established on 1st January 1955 by the members of the nations of United Nations. So United Nations, they formed an organization which was called as the World Trade Organization. Its headquarters is located in Geneva in Switzerland. So its main office is where? In Geneva in Switzerland. Its objectives are as follows. Now objectives. First, to remove obstacle influencing global trade. Obstacles meaning any difficulties which causes problems in happening of global trade. All those difficulties should be removed off completely. To remove protection policy given to industries of country for foreign trade. So certain industries are protected. Okay, they are given certain special rights, certain special protection. So that protection policy should be completely removed off. Okay, when you are trading with foreign nations. To coordinate with global trade policy and economic policy. So coordinate meaning there should be coordination, there should be proper arrangements done for global trade policy and for economic policy. To solve trade related disputes arising in a world. So any trade related problems which occur in the world, those problems should be completely solved out. Functions. Okay, so these were the objectives. Now we will talk about functions. To set up required structure for implementation of agreement related to multinational trade and agreement related to it. Now obviously lot of nations are trading with each other. Okay, you are doing international trading. So certain type of agreements should be signed between two countries. So that એવું ન થાય કે એક country profit કરે અને બીજો country profit ન કરે. So proper agreements should be signed and these agreements should be in proper structure. World Trade Organization plays a vital role for debate and negotiation for multinational trade. So all the discussion, all the negotiation, all the talking, negotiation means discussion. All the debate, all the discussions are held by the World Trade Organization, okay, for multinational trade. In order to improve trade, a lot of discussion happens at World Trade Organization. World Trade Organization encourages unbiased international trade. Unbiased એટલે કોઈ એક countryને favor ન કરે. All the countries are same. So unbiased international trade is promoted. Different nations follow their own national policy. It observes them and suggests require improvement. So what they do is that every nation has a different economic policy. Every nation has a different trade policy. So World Trade Organization observes all these things and they give various suggestions to countries for improvement. Next is impact on Indian economy. So how has all these things impacted the Indian economy which is there? India is a member of World Trade Organization since inception. Inception meaning જ્યારે World Trade Organization start થયું ત્યારથી જ India is a member of World Trade Organization. So what will be the impact of this organization on India, or which type of benefits would India acquire is discussed below. So through World Trade Organization, what all things did we benefit from? That things we are doing now. India's contribution to world trade was 5%. Our export have increased tremendously due to increase in international trade, and result India's contribution in world trade has increased to 1%. So what they're saying that earlier we were only contributing 5% of into international trade, but now we are exporting lot of things and we have increased by 1%. So now we are at 6% contributing towards world trade. Okay, so earlier we were only 5%. But now because of export has increased, okay, because of World Trade Organization, our economy has become so much better that now that 1% increase has been shown in export. Being member of WTO, export of ready-made clothes of our country has increased. Now since we are a part of WTO, okay, we are exporting ready-made clothes to other countries. As a member of WTO, India has been able to increase export of its agro products. Agro products એટલે agriculture products have also been exporting. Okay, due to increase in export pressure on imports has reduced and foreign investment has been increased in foreign exchange. Now what they are saying is that we are exporting lot of our items and we are importing very less items. એટલે આપણે ઘણી બધી વસ્તુ એક્સપોર્ટ કરીએ છીએ. Okay, and because of that we are getting foreign currencies in our country, which is a great advantage. Thus, a member of the World Trade Organization, India will not only get mentioned by benefits but also obey with some condition. It's especially dependent on how fast India is increasing its infrastructure facilities and how developed countries treat India. So what they are saying is that India's trade has increased a lot. Okay, and we have benefited a lot by being a part of World Trade Organization. And you know what has happened, that our infrastructure, our buildings, our facilities have improved so much that that lot of countries give lot of respect to India. Okay, India is not like mamuli tuchmuch nation that is there. No, like people really respect us. Okay, because of the tremendous amount of development that we have shown in the field of trade. Okay, next is sustainable development. Okay, sustainable development meaning balanced development. Okay, ઘણીવાર એવું થાય કે આપણે ડેવલપમેન્ટના ચક્કરમાં એન્વાયરમેન્ટને બહુ હાર્મ કરી દઈએ. So that should not be happening. Environment also should be considered, and balanced development should be there. According to definition of sustainable development is development which meets the need of the present separation without compromising with the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. So what they are saying is that sustainable development is such a development where you make sure that you are meeting the needs of the present generation, but also you are making sure that future generation માટે કોઈ બી વસ્તુ ખૂટી ન જાય. You know that our resources are very limited, right? Petroleum, you have oil, gas, all these things are very limited. અગર આપણે બધું જ અત્યારના યુઝ કરી લેશું તો આપણી ફ્યુચર જનરેશન માટે શું રહેશે? So sustainable, so we have to make sure that our development is such કે whatever oil, whatever petroleum, whatever all these things that we are using is enough for the future generation also. Thus, the idea of sustainable development developed because of the extreme effects of nature near human habitation and man-created cover, that is environment. So, sustainable development was something which was promoted when the government realized that because of development, we are really harming the environment that is around us. We are really cutting down trees. We are disappearing forests. So that is why the government felt that there was a need for sustainable development. Otherwise, forest જ નહીં હોય, environment જ નહીં હોય તો future generation કરશે શું? Okay, that is why. The way the speed with the present generation is development, it cannot be maintained the future. There is a near that luxuries which our present generation is enjoying may not be there for the future generation. So they are saying that we present generation are moving towards a very great speed towards development, and we are enjoying lot of luxury, we are enjoying lot of comfort because of all that. But because we are consuming so many resources that our future generation may not have all those resources with them. There is a tremendous decrease in natural resources due to economic development. What are your natural resources? Petroleum, coal, all these things we are using a lot. Okay, and it takes many years for petroleum and coal to form again. So we are, these natural resources are decreasing a lot because economic development is at a very high speed. And their quality is also deteriorating. Quality of these natural resources is also becoming less and less. In this condition, there is a need to change the idea of development. Idea of sustainable development is studied because of present development and effects of its environment. So that is why we have to check development. We have to make sure that development is also in control. And that is why the philosophy of sustainable or balanced development is shown. Okay, where you keep in mind that environment is also there and that we need to protect the environment that is there around us. Following strategy should be adopted for conservation and preservation of natural resources. So these policies should be adopted in order to preserve, in order to save the natural resources. First, renewable natural resources like cultivable farm, forest, water resources, etc. should be used in such a way that their quality is maintained, and non-renewable natural resources like coal, petroleum, minerals, etc. should be used judiciously. Renewable resources, renewable meaning you can reuse them. So there are a lot of resources which you can reuse, like farm, forest, water, sun. Okay, all these are renewable resources, meaning you can keep reusing it again and again. Okay, and so they are saying that you should be more dependent on these renewable resources which you can use again and again, but you have to make sure that the quality of that renewable resource is also maintained. And using of non-renewable resources are those resources which cannot be used again and again once you have used it. For example, coal, petroleum, all these things can't be reused again. So you should be dependent less on non-renewable resources and should be dependent more on renewable resources. That is why you have these electric scooters which you charge it and use it. Okay, so that you can save petrol. Okay, you have electric cars also now. Industrial location should be decided on basis of lesser transportation costs. A sincere attempt should be made to achieve eco-friendly development. So they are saying in those places industrial development should occur jahan any transportation cost ocho thai. For example, let us say I have an industry. If my industry is in Rajkot and if I have to transport my products from Rajkot to Bhavnagar, then it is expensive. But if my factory is in Vartej and from Vartej if I have to transport my products to Bhavnagar, then I am transporting it at a very less cost. So what they are saying is that industries should be developed in such a way that the transportation cost which is there becomes less. Okay, and industrial development should also happen in an eco-friendly and environmentally friendly way. Those resources which can be used in more than one way should be utilized in different ways, such as different irrigation systems are utilized for more than one purpose. Example, producing electricity, flood control, transportation, etc. So what they are saying that those resources which has more than one uses should be used again and again. For example, let us say water. So water can be used in agriculture, water can be used for producing electricity, water can be used for controlling floods, water is used for transportation. So such resources should be used which has more than one purpose. Natural resources should not be wasted. Okay, your natural resource should not be wasted. Control should be laid on unplanned disposal of industrial waste, poisonous chemical, increasing slums, etc. So what they are saying that natural resources should not be wasted and industries should not release their waste in water. They should not release their waste on land. Okay, and they should be careful that they are not dumping their poisonous waste on land or water or wherever. Okay, because it's harmful. Stress should be laid on non-conventional energy resources such as solar and wind energy. So like non-conventional energy meaning those energy which are there forever and which will never die. Sun is something which will remain. Sun is something which will always be there. Sun is not something which will be there. It's nothing that is going to disappear. So like water, wind, solar, all those energies should be used. Steps taken to protect the environment. For the first time, Earth Conference was organized in 1972 at Stockholm in Sweden. So for the first time, okay, there was a conference held for Earth and that was in 1972 in Stockholm in Sweden. Thereafter, there was two-time conventional and camps were organized for protection of environment. So since that year onwards, there were many camps, there were many steps taken to protect the environment at global level, in which it was decided to take different steps for environmental protection. India has also gotten involved at global efforts. Government is also making different efforts at national level. So India has become a part at global level to save the environment, and locally and nationally also India is making efforts to save the environment. For example, information about pollution condition of different cities of the nation is presented. So various cities need different information is given about pollution, how to control pollution and all that. Central and state pollution control boards have established to control pollution. So to control pollution, to keep a check on pollution, there are two boards that are established, Central Pollution Board and State Pollution Board. 5th June has been declared as Environmental Day. Most of you all celebrate it. In India, government passed Air Pollution Control Act in 1981. So this act was to control the pollution. This act was to check the pollution. International agreements have been signed for deteriorating level of ozone, disposal of nuclear waste and maintenance of biodiversity. So you know कि there is an ozone layer which is there. That ozone layer protects us from harmful UV radiation, harmful rays of the sun. But that ozone layer has hole. So that is a big problem. So, there have been many agreements that are signed by India with international countries to check ozone layer, to check nuclear pollution and to maintain the balance of environment. This conservation of environment is everybody's responsibility. It's not just government's responsibility, but all of us' responsibility, okay? If we do not control pollution, no doubt the life on earth will be doomed soon. So soon our life will end if we don't control pollution. Like simple thing like throwing the sweets or wrappers in the dustbin. That is something you can do. Switching off lights and fans when you're not using them. Okay, not polluting water. Okay, not wasting water. This is something small things that we all can do.